So, welcome ladies and gentlemen. I've already done my thoughts on the South Park joining the Panderverse episode. I'll leave it linked above. It was a review, it was a discussion. I had a great time with this event, because you're not able to call it an episode anymore. They don't do seasons anymore, apparently. But I had a really good time with it. And, you know, it was just a very, very funny event. Genuinely quite good. I think it tore, just my quick abridged version of this was, you know, it tore everyone a new one. It tore woke Kathleen Kennedy, Disney, the movie industry at large, a new one. It tore the sort of rage bait anti-woke YouTubers a new one as well. It was very universal. But someone that's come out and weighed in on the whole thing was Gina Carano. Now, Gina Carano, of course, was privy to Kathleen Kennedy and her flippant attitude and rather interesting approach to being a boss, I guess. And she comes in and reveals some interesting stuff about Disney and Kathleen Kennedy. So, just straight from the headline of this Bounding Into Comics article, it states Gina Carano weighs in on South Park joining the Panderverse, reveals Disney asked her to unfollow certain accounts because they said bad things about Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, okay then. That's fascinating stuff, isn't it? It's as if your friends are blacklisted, essentially. And this is par for the course with a big company like this, unfortunately. It kind of makes sense in some regard, but it's definitely an overreach of, you know, an employer status. An overreach for sure. So, let's take a look. Okay, so given her personal history with the company and its notorious producer, it should come as no surprise to find that actress Gina Carano has thoughts on the South Park joining the Panderverse special and its criticisms of Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's ruinous obsession with identity politics. Which, yeah, I can believe that. So offering a rare criticism of the House of Mouse's ongoing creative implosion, joining the Panderverse begins with Cartman finding himself plagued with nightmares in which he and the rest of South Park's citizens, for no reason and with no explanation, have suddenly been replaced by diverse women complaining about the patriarchy. It's very, very funny. But let's not get into that overall. We've sort of covered that as well. I mean, there's a little bit of AI sort of commentary in there as well. It was fantastic. But the main focus, it's cause of Kathleen Kennedy. Cartman replies, and that is basically what it is. So, you know, Kathleen Kennedy, stop ruining everything. Kathleen Kennedy's like, put another gay, diverse woman in it, make it more fucking lame, and Disney just keeps going down and down and down. Stock, sorry, and then Bob Iger is all like, no, what's going on with my stocks? No, Kathleen Kennedy. It was, I mean, it really skewered Disney. It really, really did. Massively so, in fact. And, you know, I'm not going to keep talking about the episode specifically. Like I said, I'll leave my review and breakdown of it all above, but there was an interesting part here where it says, no, I got like 10,000 letters a day. I was doing more like 12 to 13,000, especially after the new Indiana Jones. It's very much Cartman was the impetus behind the overwoke movement at Disney, allegedly, in this kind of conversation. But anyway, we'll scroll back down a little bit further. Because again, here's the thing, right? So retweeting a clip of this scene, which notably cuts just after Cartman's declaration that Kennedy's story was the best explanation I've heard as to why Disney movies all suck now, as shared by the nerd news outlet Geeks and Gamers. Carano declared, so basically Geeks and Gamers tweeted this scene out and it clipped, and then Gina Carano retweeted Geeks and Gamers' tweet of this, and then added to it. And said, this is the part where KK demands any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing and laughing at this hilarious episode. She'll have YouTube disabled the thumbs down option because of the ratio she'll receive. Then she'll have her publicist ghouls make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about the South Park creators and their families, smearing their names through every useful idiot she has under her thumb, who would sell their soul to work for Lucasfilm. She'll activate her online mob to repeat that the South Park creators are racist, bigot, transphobes, and demand the South Park creators publicly apologise by only using words she approves of. And finally, she'll demand they subject themselves to a re-education course of 45 people in the LGBTQ community Zoom call to sit there and listen to how badly they got their feelings hurt all over a little boop of a South Park episode. But maybe, just maybe, the jig is up. So this was a rather large tweet, quite frankly. And it's a big one. Like, that's a big-ass tweet. However, you know, Carano's tweet was obviously met with a wave of support. Loads of people, you know, etc. There was a critique, though. Came from an official Twitter account Around the Galaxy podcast, where its administrator informed their followers, in case you were wondering, Gina Carano has lost her goddamn mind. I doubt that, but okay. But interestingly, Carano in turn proceeded to lay into the Star Wars-centric podcast, firing back, "Do you always call a woman crazy just because she has more first-hand experience than you and says something you don't like or understand? Bit misogynistic, don't you think?" Tisk tisk. Curious if your overlords pay you, or do y'all just go ahead and shove your whole head straight up their ass for free? I'm guessing for free. Might want to come out for some fresh air. For some added context, not just for you, but for the people reading, one of the things your overlords asked me to do was to unfollow certain accounts because they, and I quote, said bad things about Kathleen Kennedy. That was a huge red flag for me. If I were the head, honestly, it goes further. She really ripped into these people. If I were the head of one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world, I would know that haters come with a territory and that maybe the haters are expressing their thoughts because they actually care, and caring is a good thing. Because as long as they care, well, hey, we still have something to work with. Maybe we can win their hearts back eventually, and maybe they do have some good things to add to the conversation, which they do and did. And at the very least, they're still buying the product. I mean, it just goes on. This is massive. Huge. And it goes further, right? So, where is it? Still, look at Mando Season 1. Boom, the healing had begun. If you're a proper good leader, you learn how to embrace and communicate, not dictate and silence and demand your actors and directors unfollow and shame more than half of your fan base and the people who have stuck with the franchise for decades. Side note, don't say the Force is female and then allow only the men to express their political views online. In fact, just drop the ridiculous phrase completely. Agreed. One of the problems your overlords are having now is that they've made a lot of people completely stop caring. Yeah, there's just universal apathy for Star Wars about one of the most beloved franchises in history, all by bullying, pushing aggressive agendas, and trying to silence the people criticizing them. How are they able to tell stories they don't understand when the ones they identify with are the Empire? They are literally trying to squash the little guys, the rebellion. No wonder the storytelling is struggling. They fired and dehumanized people like me, who did absolutely nothing wrong, all to virtue signal to people like you, the yes men. But yes men, unfortunately for you and them, do not drive culture. Maybe they were banking on the kids picking up the slack, but one of the best things about this franchise is passing it from generation to generation to share. The competition is too high to throw out something as valuable as that. Why would one generation pass it on when you've disrespected and thrown them away? Your overlords try to hide behind the two opposing fan bases fighting with each other instead of taking responsibility, so they encourage the hate, all while virtue signaling they are standing up for the minorities, but instead using them as a shield and a weapon. Funny enough, just how our government works. They think people, and it just goes, I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. It's crazy. It's madness. I mean, she really, really rips them a new one. But she closed and said, look, I'm not saying I'm right on all fronts, but I'm open-hearted and refuse to discriminate based off of powerful people telling me how to think and act, and if there was something I needed to apologise for, I would have in a heartbeat, but I didn't say I'd do anything wrong. People come up to me daily to shake my hand and thank me for taking a stand, even people who think different. I mean, look, she rips him a new one. It's good. It's good. It's hilarious. It's good times. I do wonder, I mean, you guys can let me know down below in the comment section how many people noticed that South Park was indeed still taking the piss out of YouTubers as well. I'd love to hear it. I myself have not watched anyone else's review because I don't do that. But let me know what you think down below. Hilarious stuff. And it's just, I mean, I can believe Kathleen Kennedy, the hubris of that woman, demanding employees to unfollow accounts. I can absolutely believe that. So, shame on you. Boo!